look at this wonderful collection from our friends at Crafter's Companion, and Heidi has been working with all of it. So please come play with us. Before I get into Heidi's beautiful cards, let me just walk you through what we have. The Peacock collection has 36 sheets of paper. Many of them are foiled, and I'll show you each sheet that Heidi has selected. Plus, there are 12 sheets of vellum, just really wonderful. You can see the Peacock cutting die, and it's also embossed, so it's just beautiful. There's also a feathered corner. There is the Peacock plumage, which are all the feathers, and then there is a flourishing frame. Now, all of those, of course, work beautifully together, but we've also added some lilacs and bloom cardstock because we really needed some cardstock to go with all of these beautiful papers. Now, this is going to be released later, but I'm bringing it early just so that you have a complete collection to work with. Now, let me show you Heidi's beautiful cards. We'll get in closer so you can really see what's going on. And isn't that pretty? Okay, you see that flash of foiling? Well, that is the sheet that Heidi has selected to go on the back. And because these are 12 by 12, you know you can make 4 cards out of this. Now also, it is also colored on the back, so that's a good thing to be able to know. And actually, she has used the cutting die with the back sheet of this. So let me walk you through what she has done. So she has taken this piece and she has cut it down. Now, as always, all the measurements are down below in the gallery. Then she matted it on one of the vellums. Look at this, such a beautiful, beautiful color. And then she did the cutting die. Now, the cutting die that she used here was that feathered corner, and it's really a nice, substantial die. You can see that she cut it twice, and she cut it out of the paper that was on the back of this, so that's great. Now, with this foiling, you also get it in a purple color in the set. So I just wanted to make sure that you had all that information. So Heidi has die cut it, I said, out of the blue, and then she backed it onto the vellum and then just trimmed it to fit and placed it, did it twice and did it on each corner, and then wrapped her ribbon. Now, Heidi does this beautiful job with ribbons. She and Teresa are the ribbon experts. She has taken the teal and aqua ribbons, and you can see that she used the crepe piece, one of our favorites, and she wrapped it around 2 corners like so, glued the ends of the back, then matted it on the vellum, and then glued that whole piece to the front of her card. And she came back and knotted on a bow made out of the same ribbon. Now, that greeting that's there, that is out. In fact, Heidi has used this set of Dazzles through all of her cards, and this is called the Inside-Outside Dazzles. You can see I've written it right there. There are 65 greetings and 115 icons, just in case you missed that in my giant handwriting. And what this has is all the sheets, come on, are in black, white, gold, and silver, and brown. Okay, so you can see here she's used the white. So it's got thinking of you on the front of her card, and on the inside, sending warm thoughts. Now that, just because it's the outside and the inside of her card, and that's the goal of this whole collection. Now, she's repeated the same thing here with her cutting die, just to do one corner of the inside. Use the same paper as her backing, just to give that flash. And then she's also added, of course, the greetings. She's added another bow inside. So on the front, you can see that her corners are lower right, upper left. On the inside, it goes to the opposite corner. And that's just a nice way to coordinate the front and the back. Really pretty. Not difficult to do either. In fact, that's true of many things that Heidi has done for us, which is always great. Now let's go to her second card. And this is quite stunning, wouldn't you agree? Now let me show you the paper that she chose. It is this one. And I just want to show you, see how she's taken this piece and she's decided to use that on the front of her card. Really, really nice. Now, on the inside of her card, she elected to use this part of the image. So that's really fun. You can see that flash of gold for the Dazzles on the front and the back, but she's done some different things. So let me walk you through this. To begin with, she is using, let me see, in doing her card, as I said, she has cut this piece, but before that, she did some foiling. Now, she also did it on our black chipboard. By the way, that is an exclusive item at Paper Wishes. And the black chipboard comes with scalloped and also with circles. So you get 6 in each package. Let me set that aside. And she's done some foiling. And the foiling, we just absolutely love this. This is from Wow Embossing Powder. Yes, I know that's the name of the company, but this is Fab Foil. She has used the gold. She's also used the spearmint. So let me just show you how to do that, just in case you haven't seen it. So I'm going to take the circle chipboard, and let me bring in my craft mat just so that you can really see this against that black background. Okay, so what you do is just take some of the glue stick in this case. You can also use the extra sticky tape. You can use the specialist acrylic glue. So I'm just going to do this in a couple of places, kind of like Heidi did. And this is the glue stick, as I said, our giant piece. And I'm going to bring the fab foil in. Now, you see just a narrow strip here, but this thing is over 3 feet long. So you really get a ton of it to use. And all you do is place it where you've got the adhesive. You do want to burnish it in place, so that just means rub hard. And by the way, you can use all the bits and pieces of this, so nothing goes to waste, which I really appreciate. Okay, so we're going to rub that down and then just lift it up. There we go. Okay, just that hard. And you see just that flash of gold. And she has done that. Okay, let me get this out of the way so I can show you. She has done that on the edge of her card. And by the way, she started that card with a piece of cardstock and scored it down. So again, measurements are down below. Then she cut this piece and had that ready. Then she did one of the other dies, and this is the Flourishing Frame. Just a beautiful, beautiful die. You can see that it's a really substantial one. Now you can use it as Heidi has done here, but you can also cut it apart if you wanted to do that. So what she has done is she has die cut that out of the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock, in fact, that particular piece. And then she did some foiling on it. So you can see the green, that spearmint that she's done on it. Okay, so the gold she did on her card, but the spearmint she did on the frame. And then on top, she layered the 2 pieces of black chipboard and added the Dazzles. Same Dazzles, the card inside out, so sending warm thoughts. And then on the inside, I love you. Isn't that pretty? That's stacked. Now on the inside, she used the back of this paper, there you go, and just covered the inside of her card. By the way, we haven't done that in a long time, so let me just walk you through it. Here's what we do. We take the glue stick, rub it around the edge of the card, and make a big X in the middle. Then we position the paper along the fold, not over it, but just next to it, and press this down. Then we turn it over and cut right along that edge. That way the paper matches perfectly. You don't have to do any measuring. Now the other thing that she's done, as I talked about cutting that tail, she did some gold foiling, as I think you can see with that flash of color. Now I mentioned that there's vellum in that paper pad, and here's one of the vellums. So she has taken that green and she tore it. And again, the measurements are in the gallery, and she just tucked it in underneath this piece. Now, when you tear vellum, it is just like tearing anything else. You just want to let it wiggle. So no fair folding at first, but you will get that white edge, and that works very, very nicely. I haven't seen the torn vellum in quite a while, so it's nice to see it. Again, that gold foiling is so easily done and so effectively on her card. This is the gold and silver ribbons, so that just adds just a really nice finishing touch. Really pretty. Fun to play with the foils in matching the colors of what's going on in that peacock or in any project that you have. Okay, let's get moving to our next project, and this is our Slimline cards. Now, you probably are seeing these everywhere. We're really happy that we have, I think we're the only ones who have, actually the card blanks and the matching envelopes. Now, our cards are 3.5 by 8.5. That's the measurement. And then the envelopes, many times people will talk about that the Slimline will fit in a number 10 envelope. That's perfectly fine, and they will. We elected to get a slightly different size because we felt that the number 10 just kind of gave so much wiggle room, and we wanted some extra space, but we didn't want it kind of slopping around in there. So this is what we have. You can get those in groups of 10 cards and 10 envelopes all together. Now here is what Heidi has done, and isn't this really fun? I think what we found, in fact the design team has found, is that the Slimline cards tend to be pretty fast to do, so that's really nice. Now Heidi has taken another foiled sheet from that paper pad. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, if you're doing a scrapbook page, of course you're going to have your photos there and there, maybe some titling in the middle or some journaling there. But to do this for cards, how beautiful. And you can see that she has used this piece and really taken a really nice look at that flash of foiling. Just really pretty. Now, she has matted it on the Lilacs in Bloom paper, and you can see right there. She did wrap this with the blue, teal and aqua ribbons, so right there. And you can see that she's got her bow just off center, so that worked really well. The same Dazzles, that card inside out, so there's happy birthday. I like how they're stacked. And then look at the peacock. Okay, let me show you that cutting die. There it is again. In fact, it's almost true to size on the package, maybe just a little bit larger. What Heidi did is she die cut that out of two papers. One of the papers from the paper pad, and then also from the vellum. And then she just hit it. Can you see the gold on there? Well, she simply took the Spectrum Noir metallic pigment ink, and she used a blending brush and simply gently went over the top of that very pretty cutting die just to get a little bit of sparkle there. And then she added on top, these are our gold jewel Dazzles. Now, there are 540 on there, and I know that's pretty blinding on camera. There are 3 sizes of circles, and she has just let them embellish those tail feathers, the eye, and just does a really nice job. Now, going to the inside of her card, this is another piece of that same foiled paper. You see that little bit right there. This is a piece of the back side of that same paper, and then she did the same thing here where she has die cut the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock and one of the other papers from the collection. She's taken a strip of paper right there between the two, and then this card reads, "Happy birthday. The more candles, the bigger the wish." Very fun with those Dazzles, repeating, offsetting those 2 die cut pieces of the peacock, adding the jewel Dazzles. Just a really nice card, very nicely done. Okay, I have one more for you, and we have one more cutting die that we haven't used, and that is this one, the peacock plumage. And I love this. It's been a while since I've seen feathers. You know, they were hugely popular years ago, and boy, this is a reason to bring them back. You can tell that these are peacock feathers because you kind of have the eye in actually 3 of the 4. And I love what she has done. She has used another paper from this collection. Let me bring it out so you can see it. And I'm not surprised that all of her cards have used the foiled pieces, but there are non-foiled papers in the paper pad also. So boy, that's really peacock feathers. And you can see that she has, this is a 5x5 card. She has cut her piece, then she's matted it on that vellum and then onto the blue paper. And that blue paper is on the back of this foiled piece. There you go. Now, in doing her feathers, she did her feathers out of the vellum. In fact, this particular one, also out of that a purple vellum that we saw in the very first project. And then also out of the blue paper, the peacock paper. And they are circling some of these cutting dies are really useful, the 12 circles and scallops. So you can see that there's one out of the vellum, there's another one out of the blue, and they have been placed there. And then the feathers are just kind of encircling them. You can see they're going up, but then there's also one coming this way. So that works nicely. Her white ribbon, of course, is from the white ribbon set. And same thing, card inside, outside Dazzles right there. The inside of her card. So she's got one strip here and then just another there. So she didn't cover the whole thing. She went with this with slightly smaller circles than on the front of her card, but she duplicated adding those feathers. I do think doing them out of vellum as well as padded paper, printed paper, and cardstock is just a beautiful way to go. And this card is You Are My Everything. Thank you. Really, really nice. So that's what our Heidi has done. Very fun collection with our Peacock collection and the 1, 2, 3, I have to get the camera back, 4 cutting dies. And if you like, you can also get the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock to go along with it. Thank you so much for watching us. Heidi, thank you so much for a wonderful collection of cards. And not only that, I love the techniques you've done. Great adding that foil back in and using the black chipboard. If you're watching us on YouTube, please head over to paperwishes.com. Why? Well, because we have a money saver right there on the right side of your screen. And down below, we have all of the measurements. You don't have to second guess anything. We love having you with us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you, as always, for being the very best part of paperwishes.com.